Welcome back into East Cobb here as we join a game already in progress. Bottom of the first inning here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Griffin Leonard here for you for the Wellington Sports Academy Prospect and Kingsmen here 0-0, but the Kingsmen are threatening here in the bottom of the first. They escaped a bases-loaded jam in the top half. They have runners on second and third with nobody out. Montgomery Hart at the plate. Owen Beatrice had a double to put us where we stand. Montgomery Hart about to see the pitch from the right-hander for Wellington. And Hart dribbles it to second. That's playable, but a run scores. Ryan Waters scores to make it 1-0 here in the first. I'm going to step aside here and gather my bearings, so give me a few minutes if you will, but we'll have the coverage for you right here without audio. 1-0 Kingsmen lead here in the bottom of the first with a runner on third and one away. I'll be right back here with the broadcasting. Welcome back to Kingsmen Prospect Baseball here. It is the top of the second inning. 2-0, the Kingsmen lead. They ended up plating that run in from third, as I'm sure you saw. Beatrice scored on the sacrifice fly by Jack Curtis. A couple of balls early thrown here by Micah Irving to Jose Arruccio, the extra hitter, wearing the number 0, batting left-hand side for Wellington. Wellington dropped their opening game of the ABA kickoff to the Kingsmen 5-3 one day ago. Back at it for a rematch with the third game up in the air right now due to weather. We'll see if the Kingsmen can complete potentially a 2-game sweep. 3-0 after that ball popped out of the glove of Mason Ritzma. It's Ritzma behind the plate, Classe at third, Beatrice at short, Montgomery Hart is the second baseman, Bose at first, McNeil in left, Ryan Waters the center fielder, and Hudson Entrikin in right field. I also want to give a shout out to his brother Noah Entrikin, scorekeeper today. Gave me a lot of help figuring things out as I settled in a half inning shy of the start. 3-2 after that swinging strike. Micah Irving on the mound trying to get this thing all the way back after falling behind 3-0. He's into the right-hand windup, fires home a fastball and struck out Jose Arruccio. Second strikeout of the game for Wellington, and Irving's got a K to start the second. Let's catch you up on what happened in the top of the first. Ethan Till is the leadoff man. He walked, moved to second on a Ruben Guerrero single, so it was second and first, nobody out. Abriel Torres struck out in the 3 spot before Sam Vatterott reached on an error by Owen Beatrice at shortstop. There's a swing and a miss to make it 0-1 on Tanner Kenny. So it was bases loaded, 1 out for Wellington, who were looking for early offense, before Jorge Ferrer popped out to the second baseman Hart, and David Brongo popped out to Ashton Bose at first base. So the Kingsmen escaped the bases loaded jam in the first, and then put up 2 runs of their own to start off the contest. Sounds pretty similar to game number 1, where the Kingsmen took a 2-run lead into inning number 2. Put up 3 runs in that, and Wellington were able to answer with just 1 in the bottom of the first. That one called a strike to Kenny. 1-2 is the count. Kenny and then Diego Castro and Parker Shop round out the 10 for Wellington. 2-strike pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Appeal down to first, no swing, says our base umpire, so the at-bat's still alive. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three and 2, the pitch. Low of the zone and a walk. A walk for Tanner Kenny after Irving had him 1-2, gives Wellington its first base runner of the second inning here. 2-0 Kingsmen lead here in East Cobb. No word officially on tomorrow. The varsity team trying to get ahead of things, playing their game that was scheduled for tomorrow. That game going to be kicking off momentarily. That one's in there for a strike to Irving. We apologize for those of you who would like to watch that third varsity game. Of course, I can't be in 2 places at once. And seeing as that we already had the 11:30 varsity game, it only feels right to get the second prospect game on the air as well, as Ritzma throws down to second. Good tag, and he's out. Tanner Kenny caught stealing. And there are 2 outs here in the second inning after a great throw from Mason Ritzma. One pitch high to Diego Castro. And now, despite the 1-out walk, Wellington now in danger of only bringing the minimum to the plate here in the second inning. Irving working efficiently so far. 2 balls and a strike here to Diego Castro. Out of the windup, Irving's pitch. And a pop-up foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 38 pitches so far for Micah Irving through an inning and 2/3. We'll see how the Kingsmen attack things pitching-wise, considering we may not play tomorrow. Maybe an arm brought up from tomorrow's game to pitch today so that they don't waste him for the week. Irving's 2-strike pitch. And it's hit a cue shot off the end of the bat. Foul. Manager Coach Hudak coming out to retrieve that foul ball. We'll try to get you some updates on that second varsity game of the day against East Carolina Academy. You should be able to follow it on Game Changer, presuming that Eastern Carolina is scoring it. They're the home team, so they should have the official score for that one. The pitch from Irving. Blew it by him. A looking strikeout takes down Castro. 3rd strikeout for Irving, 2nd of the inning, and we head to the bottom of inning number 2. 2-0. We'll be right back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of inning number 2. First pitch, Izzy Classe dribbles it foul to the first base side. Classe, the third baseman for the Kingsmen, batting in the 6th spot. Kingsmen brought 5 hitters up to the plate in total in that first. 3 put out and 2 runs came in. Efficient offense has given the Kingsmen the lead. And now an 0-1 pitch coming from Anthiel. The right-hander throws and gets Classe to be out in front of that off-speed pitch. 0-2 to Classe, followed by Ritzma and Ashton Bowes playing first base. Lifts leg and comes home. Outside with that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The only change in the batting order from yesterday's game is Ashton Bowes playing first. Well, there's a couple defensive changes, I should say that. But Bowes playing first base has knocked Seminara out of the lineup as Classe goes down looking. Caden McNeil has entered the batting order in the 10 spot. He's playing left. And Tristan Harless bopped out of the outfield. He'll hit as the designated hitter. Fresh off of that 3-inning save against Wellington yesterday. So 1 out. 4 hitters retired in a row for Anthiel. The first pitch to Ritzema is at the letters for a called strike, 0-1. 2-0, the Kingsmen Prospect leads Wellington Sports Academy. I'd like to thank you for joining us here for the second game of 2 today as Ritzema lashes one into right field. He's got himself a base hit. Mason Ritzema hit that one hard, and he stands on first with 1 away.
Sit back. Bob, sit back. Let's go, Ryan.
Ashenbow's hitting with a man on first and 1 away. Takes a big cut at that one. Came up empty. He's behind 0-1. Bowes was the designated hitter in yesterday's game, hitting for Noah Entrikin, the starting arm for the Kingsmen, but playing first and at the plate for the first time. 0-1. Watches that one go, and the count is even at 1 apiece. Ritzema off of first base. Tristan Harless is on the on-deck circle. 1-1 to Bubba. Watches it go. Ritzema on the move. High throw and safe because of it. A lower throw would have had Mason Ritzema, but it's a stolen base for the Kingsmen. I believe that pitch was in there for a strike. 1-2 is the signal from the home plate umpire, but a stolen base for Ritz gives the Kingsmen a man in scoring position here with 1 away. Bowes watches that one at the knees, and he goes down looking for out number 2. Once again, we apologize for the late start to this ball game. The stream being concluded down the complex at the varsity game before we could get it up here. And now both the video and the audio should be working as normal. Thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday afternoon in February. First pitch to Tristan Harless, a check swing foul to the third base side of the screen. 0-1 for Harless, the designated hitter. He did reach on a walk, but went 0 for 2 in that game. Talking to me after the game, he said that he's looking for more out of his bat, but he was really happy with how he looked on the mound. Takes a big cut. Comes up empty to make it 0-2 for Harless. Caden McNeil on deck if the second inning continues, fresh off of that varsity win. McNeil suited up in a new colored jersey and ready to go. The Kingsmen Prospect wearing gold today. Glad McNeil didn't forget to bring his other one. 0-2. High and outside. Now they back pick down to second. Ritzema back in standing up. That was closer than I think he would have wanted it to be. Outfield for Wellington today, Guerrero, Till, and Kenny. Infield of Castro, Ferrer, Brongo, and Vatterott. Shop doing the catching for Anthiel. Two to nothing, the Kingsmen lead. Harless trying to add to it. Ritzema off a second, and the ball hit into left center field. Playable for Guerrero, who settles, and it hooks down into the mitt. End of 2 here in East Cobb. 2-0, the Kingsmen lead. We head to the third. Micah Irving back to the mound when we come back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.
You called it all easy.
Welcome to the third inning here in East Cobb. 2-0. Micah Irving is back on the mound for his third inning of work, facing Shop, Till, and Guerrero. Fires the first pitch low and away to Parker Shop, the bottom of the Wellington Sports Academy order. Wellington Sports Academy out of Wellington, Florida, along the East Coast in between Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale. That ball hit a mile high into left. McNeil jumping and makes the catch before colliding with the wall. Caden McNeil showing off the range and the athleticism for the first out of the inning. Absolutely no fear from the young outfielder who put his body on the line to make sure he reeled that one in. And the first out is made. Ethan Till walked and was stranded at third his first time. He comes to hit his second plate appearance. Irving into the windup, kicks and fires, and a ball popped up into the air, left center field. Hooking toward McNeil. He's called off by the center fielder Waters, and that's 2 flyouts in quick succession for Wellington here in the third. So 3 pitches in the third so far for Micah Irving, and he's already got himself 2 outs. Here is Ruben Guerrero, the only Wellington hitter to have a hit off of him so far today, and Irving starts him with the ball outside. In the third for the Kingsmen, it'll be 10-1-2 for them themselves, just as Wellington brought here in the third. McNeil, Waters, and Beatrice. Irving's 1-0. Popped up in the air. Shallow center, under it. The shortstop, Beatrice, makes the catch. How about Micah Irving? 5 pitches to get out of the third. We head to the bottom half. 2-0. Kingsmen still lead. Bottom of the third, Caden McNeil, the leadoff hitter here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Kingsmen varsity underway, down on field number 5. Checking that one out on Game Changer. It's an early 1-0 lead for the varsity group as McNeil slashes a ground ball that's off the third baseman, and that will allow the speedster to reach. Infield single for Caden McNeil, we'll call it. It was hit hard, and a tough play that ate up the third baseman Castro. You know, if you think about it, you're just protecting the third baseman's fielding percentage. That's all you're doing. And now McNeil on first. Speedster, we'll see if he takes off at some point. Waters squared to bunt, takes ball 1.
And helping out Caden's batters, too. Give him a hit on that. Helping both sides.
Caden McNeil gets the credit for the hit. He's had a pretty good spring for both the Prospect and the varsity teams. Doesn't have a stolen base today yet. And Waters drags and puts it down the third base line. Castro quickly to first in time to get Waters flying down the first base line. He sacrifices McNeil over to second base. And it's a runner in scoring position with 1 out for Owen Beatrice. Two hole up for the Kingsmen. Second at bat for Owen Beatrice, who doubled and scored in the first inning. That one is high of the zone. No, it's high in the zone, excuse me, for strike 1. 0-1 to Beatrice, who doubled, advanced to third on the ground ball out by Hart, and then scored on the sacrifice fly. Runner on the move, and it's inside on Owen Beatrice. You know, that's the second time today that Caden McNeil, well, the first time happened in the varsity game. That's the second time today that Caden McNeil has attempted to steal the base, and the batter has been hit by the ball, and he's had to either advance begrudgingly or he's had to head back to the base he came from. So Beatrice is plunked. He stands on first. Caden McNeil has to head back to second. I think he would have had third base with ease. Montgomery Hart at the plate. That's going to make it harder on McNeil to grab third a second time because Hart is a left-handed hitter, so there's no screen for the catcher throwing down to the third base bag. First pitch to Hart. Ripped up the middle, off the pitcher, and into shallow right. McNeil will score as a result. From first to third goes Owen Beatrice. It's an RBI single for Montgomery Hart. The ball has been bouncing every which way in the infield here in this third inning, but the Kingsmen are not going to complain. It's 3-0. That ball was hit right back at the pitcher. I believe it hit off of his left foot. It either hit his foot or the pitching rubber. Either way, whatever it hit, it kicked into right field, away from every Gator in black and orange. And now Curtis is up with runners on the corners and 1 out. First pitch taking for Curtis, 1-0.
I just put that there. How did it hit the third? There's no option of getting hit by hit the pitcher, go to right field, just put other.
1 ball, no strikes. A quick throw over to first. Lively ballpark atmosphere here at the Perfect Game Center in East Cobb as Jack Curtis hits one hard but well foul. That one went up the hill. Perhaps we'll retrieve that when we head back to the buses this afternoon. 3 balls, or rather runner on third and first. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Hart had taken off on that ball that was fouled off. We'll see if he tries for second base again. He heads back to first standing up. Slide step. Curtis lunges and pokes it to center. Coming in on it is Till. Makes the catch, tagging Beatrice. 1 hop throw to the plate is not in time. Beatrice scored standing up and is now being told to get dirty. But he scored, it didn't matter. 2 runs in the inning for the Kingsmen as Jack Curtis, for the second time today, hits a sacrifice fly. Hudson Entrikin batting with 2 down and a runner on first. Another productive inning here in the third for the Kingsmen. 4-0 in the bottom half of inning number 3. They'll check on Hart again at first base. Runner on the move, Hart heading down to second. That ball's on the ground, and he is safe with a stolen base. Do believe it's Nemo Barnes on the mound for the Kingsmen's varsity team in that game over at ECA. We'll continue to get you updates as that game rolls on. Here it's 4-0, and Entrican has a chance to knock a run in, but he's popped it up on the infield. Coming in, the first baseman, Vatterott. He calls off his teammates and makes the catch to retire the side. So, the inning ends, but 2 runs the result. We head to inning number 4 right here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of inning number 4, Micah Irving starts it off with a fastball that just missed the letters. Called a ball to Abriel Torres, the designated hitter for Wellington. Struck out in the first for Micah Irving's first out of the game. Torres struck out twice yesterday, reached on an error. He was 0 for 3. Irving evens the count with that fastball on the outer edge. 1 ball and 1 strike. I'd like to welcome you all here to the broadcast here from East Cobb, Georgia. It's the ABA kickoff here in 2026. It's been a positive one for the Kingsmen so far. Just a couple bounces differently from being undefeated between the two teams, but the varsity 1-1, the Prospect 1-0, and off to a good start here in game 2. Ball and a strike. Irving out of the windup, deals the pitch at the knees for a called strike. Good location on that fastball to go ahead 1-2. It's Torres, Vatterott, and Ferrer. 3-4-5 due up here for Wellington in the 4th inning. Irving kicks the leg and comes home. Curveball poked off the end of the bat, but rolls foul. And Torres stays alive. We will get you official updates on the plan for tomorrow when we get them. Hoping to let you know for sure whether or not the games tomorrow will be played before we're off the air. Of course, obviously, if the team isn't playing tomorrow, likely they'll head home tonight. So I would hope we know sooner rather than later. In the dirt, spiked that one. Ritzma blocked it. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count for Torres. Vatterott on deck. He reached on an error in the first. Micah Irving, a deep breath. The Charlotte native brings the leg back and starts his motion. Did not get the call on the upper part of the zone. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count. Irving shifts forward and rips a foul ball off the bat of Torres. Leadoff hitter giving him a good job to do. Gabriel Torres doing his job as the makeshift leadoff man despite being in the 3-hole. 3-2. Irving tries it again. Goes to the off-speed. Gets a rollover ground ball to Classe at third. Izzy up with it in time for out number 1. Really good pitch sequence from Irving to get the rollover. There is one down. Vatterott the next hitter for the Gators of Wellington Sports Academy. Score update for you for the varsity game, 1-1. ECA answers back, a run off of Nemo Barnes. Still early on in that contest. Depending on when this one ends and that one ends, we may get some bonus coverage for you. We'll have to wait and see. No promises. But I'll do my darndest. So 1 out here in the 4th. Irving combing through the WSA Gators so far through 3 1/3, and now gets a cue shot off the end of the bat, trickling toward Coach Joe Hudak, and it's 0-1. Irving's out of the windup for the 0-1, low and away on the curveball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jorge Ferrer on deck. 6, 7, 8 due up in the bottom of the 4th for the Kingsmen, who lead 4-0. And that breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. Bullpen action for the Gators. Unfortunately, our vantage point here does not give us much of an angle at the Kingsmen bullpen. So it'll be a lovely surprise for both the folks at home and then us here getting the game out to you. Irving's 2-1. Fastball outside corner, 2-2. Micah Irving has retired 5 straight, going back to the 2nd inning. He's got 2 strikes here on Vatterott, the cleanup man. Didn't get the call at the knees, and the count is full. A lot of pitches already for Irving here in this 4th inning. I believe he threw 7 to Gabriel Torres before winning that battle. This will be number 6 to Vatterott. Full count pitch. And a walk with 1 out. Vatterott reaches for the 2nd time. One on and 1 out for Jorge Ferrer. First pitch inside edge, called a strike. Irving into Ritzma. Ferrer behind 0-1 in the count. Popped up to Montgomery Hart at second base. The infield fly rule called there with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 1st. And now pops this one foul up over our heads, 0-2. A group of guys from the Wellington Sports Academy watching their teammates behind home plate, likely either the premier or the varsity group. Ground ball, left side and through. Placed it perfectly. Classe went after it for a second but backed off, and it ends up in McNeil's hands in left. So, 2nd hit of the ball game for Wellington. They've got 2nd and 1st with only 1 out for David Brongo. Looked like that ball might have had a chance to be 2 if it had been hit a couple feet further to the left. If Classe could have gotten there, his momentum would have taken him straight to second base. So here's the second baseman, Brongo. 0 for 1 with the pop out to end the 1st inning and strand the bases loaded. He takes a fastball that did not get the top of the zone. The Letters have not been part of the zone in the first few innings here today. Of course, it isn't much of a worry if it's consistent both sides, which it has been, but the top of the zone has been hard to come by. As that's right at Classe, caught, they go to second and double him up. A line shot right at Izzy Classe, and Vatterott is a dead duck at second base. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Still 4-0 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning, Izzy Classe leads it off with a foul ball into the screen right side. 0-1. 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third for the Kingsmen. That's how we've gotten to our spot we're at now. Irving threw 4 scoreless, 64 pitches for the Kingsmen starter as Classe hits it into deep right center field. Going back on it and making a running catch is Ethan Till. He probably ran 100 feet for that ball. What a catch in center for the first out of the inning. Credit to Till because he robbed Izzy Classe of a triple. Wow. Hard to hit it much better than that. 1 out here in the fourth. Mason Ritzma, the next to hit. He singled and stole second base in the second inning. Out of the windup, here's the pitch from Anthiel. And Ritzma gets a hold of it down the right field line. That ball is down for a base hit. Ritzma has his second base knock of the day. He's on first with 1 out. I mentioned the lack of sight line at the bullpen. I'll show you here momentarily. There's a lack of sight line kind of for the entire right field corner. So a ball like that hit by Ritzma, I kind of just got to read the body language and hope that I don't sound like an idiot. But that ball did fall. Ritzma is still at first base, and he's on first with 1 out. He takes off. Throw down to second is a line drive and drop by the second baseman. If Brongo held on, then Ritzma was out. Based on the reaction from Coach Joe Hudak, I think that was a hit and run. So a stolen base for Mason Ritzma. Runner on second, 1 out. The pitch to Bose is a swinging strike to make it 0-2. Ritzma in scoring position with one out. Bose in the 0-2 hole, fights it off with a hard ground ball off the bricks down the third base side. Love the aesthetic of this ballpark. Brick dugouts, brick trim around down the lines, except for the padded backstop, which stretches pretty close to both dugouts. And it accents nicely with the blue and orange fences as Bose sends an ugly finder into the WSA dugout. Still 0-2. That ball bounced off the back wall of the dugout and all the way back into fair territory, playing pinball down the third base line. We'll see if Bose has unlocked himself some multi-ball here, fighting against an 0-2 count. Here it is from Anthiel. And Bose cracks one to short. Fielded cleanly. Ritz sticks around at second, and the throw is in time to get Bose from Ferrer. 2 down here in the bottom half of inning number 4. Tristan Harless, the DH, to hit next. Just Gnarless watches ball 1 outside. Score update for you for the varsity game. The Kingsmen have taken back the lead 2-1 over ECA. I believe that game is in the 3rd inning. Ritzma off a second as Harless fouls that one off. Ball and a strike, 2 away. In the 5th, we will see 7, 8, 9 for Wellington, Aruccio, Ketty, and Castro. Southern Division team, WSA, will not play the Kingsmen again until potentially Lake Point in May, the championships for the ABA, as Harless pops one up third base side, tracking but running out of room is Castro as it falls out of play. Strike 2. Kingsmen by 4. We will see if Micah Irving comes back out for a 5th inning. I've heard rumors of Brandon Falk potentially getting into this game if we think Game 3 tomorrow is not going to happen. High and outside for a ball. Obviously the players want to play. I know everybody at home wants to see the games tomorrow. I'd love to call the games tomorrow, but I'm sure that the camera sitting in front of me wouldn't mind a day in the shade as Tristan Harless strikes out swinging to end the inning. We head to the 5th, 4-0. Kingsmen still lead Prospect Baseball on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Fastball in there, 0-1. Oh and 1 as Micah Irving is back up and throwing. That one's in the dirt for ball 1. Jose Aruccio, the 7-hole hitter for Wellington. One pitch. Irving misses high. 2 balls and a strike.
He's like, I didn't think it was that hitter.
Two balls and a strike. Micah Irving back on the mound in the windup. Fires home the fastball downstairs and a bit inside as well. Jose Aruccio leading off the 5th, just like he led off the 2nd. Irving certainly hoping that he'll lead off the 5th rather, in the same way he led off the 2nd, with the strikeout swinging. Irving has just 3 strikeouts today, but he's been efficient. And there's a high fly ball to deep center. Ryan Waters looking at it as it one-hops the batter's eye. Strolling into second, Aruccio with a leadoff double. And that's what Wellington was looking for, trying to rally down 4-0. It's a leadoff double for Aruccio. Here is Tanner Kenny. Word on the street in the varsity game is ECA has had a productive bottom of the 2nd. They're only through 2 down on field number 5, and it is 3-2 ECA as it stands. They're still batting against the Kingsmen. Here in the top of the 5th, a runner on second, nobody out. Irving's first pitch called at the knees, a strike. Tanner Kenny looking for his first at-bat after a walk. The first time he came up to the plate. He walked and then was caught stealing at second base. Aruccio off a second. Hart softly leading him on and now backs off. 0-1, ran inside on him. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. We'd like to thank you for joining us again here for the Kingsmen Prospect Game 2 against Wellington Sports Academy. Of course, hoping to play tomorrow. Still waiting on official word regarding that contest. 1 ball, 1 strike. That curveball in the dirt. Check swing, appeal down to second, and no swing the call. Tough for the second base umpire to see that from his angle. And that's exactly what the second base umpire is telling Coach Joe Hudak. 2 balls and 1 strike. I've always thought that if the base umpire is at second, that the home plate umpire should make every check swing call because he's right there. He might not have the best angle either. But as that ball's hit to center field, Ryan Waters getting over there, but it's Caden McNeil making the play from left. He made the range happen to make the catch for the fly out. 1 out here in the 5th, and Aruccio had to stick around at second. Good play from Caden McNeil. We're hitting the hour mark as we stand on this broadcast. Of course, the game's starting a little bit before we could get down here. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Irving out of the stretch with the runner on second. Fires home the pitch. Fouled off by Castro, 0-1. Coach Hudak out to retrieve. Wins the race to the baseball. Mason Ritzma giving up chase to his manager. It's been a fun week out here in East Cobb. The team getting a break from the beautiful apartments in Gastonia, North Carolina, the Luray Mill Lofts. Instead, trading that for a couple of hotel rooms. You know, most of the guys on the 4th floor of the hotel here in Atlanta. An opportunity for the guys to hang out and have a good time on the road. That's what it's all about, right? Irving, after the foul ball, gets another one. Probably could have got that if there was no net. 2 strikes. Would have had to fish my glove out of my backpack pretty quick, I will say. Team had a nice meal after the game, some Golden Corral, you know, some nice Atlanta cuisine. I was talking about yesterday, first Georgia food for me, being the first time in Georgia, was Applebee's. Not necessarily the greatest Georgia food experience, as Micah Irving gets Castro looking for the second time today. 4th strikeout for Irving, and there's 2 down. But, I don't think half-priced apps are necessarily what you think of when you hear Georgia food, but, I had said maybe the post-game meal will be a better indication while we ended up at Golden Corral. It was a good meal, though. I won't argue. Won't argue with it one bit. Word on the street is we might be going back there tonight. Panic on the faces of everyone who just heard that. Line drive foul off the bat of Parker Shop, 0-1. Kicks the leg, comes home high, appeal down to second, no swing again, says our base umpire. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Parker Schock, who flew out to left field. He flew out to begin the 3rd inning, and he's 0 for 1. Aruccio had the leadoff double, but has been stuck there. See if he can come around to score. Irving trying to shut the door on the 5th inning. Lifts the leg and fires home the 1-1 out of the stretch. Hit the inside half of the strike zone to make it 1-2. Likely the last inning of work for Micah Irving. He has been great as the Kingsmen's number 2 starter. Kid out in Charlotte, North Carolina, still uncommitted. But those offers are going to be coming in soon, the way he started this spring on the mound. Kicks the leg, 2-strike pitch, hit high in the air to left field. McNeil going back on it. At the track, it's off the wall. 1 run comes in to score in Aruccio, and the throw to Owen Beatrice, a 2-out RBI double for Parker Schock off that high left field fence, makes this a 4-1 ball game. WSA finally on the board. And it's now the top of the Wellington order. Ethan Till coming around for the 3rd time. Coach Joe Hudak motioning down to the bullpen, asking for a status update. Looks like Mike Irving's going to get 1 more batter. Four to 1 Kingsmen lead here in the 5th. Game number 2 here in East Cobb. And now Coach Joe Hudak walking out to the mound, and maybe Irving will not get that batter. Coach Hudak waited until the very last moment for him to trigger that mound visit, and it may have just been to give the bullpen as long as humanly possible to get ready. Tap on the shoulder from Coach Hudak. They're having a conversation out there. As far as I know, the ball's still in the glove of Irving. 4 2/3 pitched, and he'll see 1 more batter, at least. He'll want to make it only 1 with 2 outs in the inning against Ethan Till. Chance to get out of the 5th inning. That's all a starting pitcher wants. Sees the coach coming to the mound. Say, hey, give me 1 more chance. Let me get out of this myself. The cavalry can come in the next frame. Irving's going to get himself a chance to do just that. First run of the game in from Wellington, 1 batter ago. And now Ethan Till, who's 0 for 1, comes up with a runner in scoring position. First pitch, fastball low and away, 1-0. An overcast day in East Cobb, Georgia, but it's been warm enough to be bearable. 1-0. In the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. Rain expected in the forecast tomorrow, which is the reason for the uncertainty regarding the finale of the ABA kickoff. This tournament just a few games against opponents. The Prospect playing the same team all 3 games, Varsity playing 3 different opponents, so there's no bracket or anything. You'd still love to get all the games in. 2-0. Irving outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Not what he's looking for out of the mound visit. And what could be his final batter of the game, regardless of how it goes. Ruben Guerrero is on deck. He would come up to the plate here if the inning continues, as Irving tries to lock down this 5th inning. Up to 83 pitches through 4 2/3. 3-0 pitch. High for ball 4. 4-pitch walk puts runners on second and first. The tying run coming up to the plate in Ruben Guerrero. Here comes Coach Hudak. Mike Irving had one more batter, walked him on 4 pitches, and that will bring about the end of what has been an excellent day on the mound. Mike Irving through 4 2/3. His book is still open, but for now, it's just 1 earned run, 4 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. And he's done a good job to put the Kingsmen in a winning position. We'll see a new arm, and it's Brandon Falk to the mound when we get back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here in the top of inning number 5, 4-1. Brandon Falk on the mound, and he gets a swinging strike from Ruben Guerrero to start his relief appearance. Brandon Falk was the projected starter for tomorrow's game, so if nothing else, that gives you the indication of how the Kingsmen coaching staff thinks that tomorrow is going to end up. Second and first with 2 outs, 0-1 pitch. Falk outside off the glove of Ritz, but in front, and 1-1 the count. Ruben Guerrero popped the ball up to the shortstop to end the 3rd inning. Falk looking for an out from the Wellington 2-hole to preserve a 3-run lead. The tie-in run is at the plate for the Wellington Gators. 1-1. Falk's off speed, breaks in there for strike number 2. In the bottom of the 5th for the Kingsmen, it'll be 10-1-2. Caden McNeil set to lead off inning number 5 for the Kingsmen Bats. Falk out of Ontario, Canada. Tall right-hander. Comes set. Has the 1-2 pitch as he glances at second and comes home. In the dirt, blocked by his fellow man from up north, Mason Ritzma. The both of them still grieving the gold medal hockey game, the upset. It's only right to give them a little bit of a hard time about it. 2-2. Didn't get the call at the knees. A great location on that slider, and it is 3-2. The runners will be on the move with the count full. If the inning continues, we'll see Abriel Torres, who is 0 for 2 for Wellington. 3-2. Falk, a deep breath, and charges forward. And gets a chopper. Tough play for Clausse. Bare hands, throws to first on one hop, but not in time. Bose knocked it down, but Guerrero had beaten it regardless. Infield base hit off of a 3-2 pitch. Hit that one straight into the ground and legged it out. The bases are loaded with 2 away. I mean, that's all you can ask for from Brandon Falk. You get the hitter to 2 strikes, throw an excellent strikeout pitch that he doesn't chase, and then you get a ground ball hit about 2 miles an hour. But sometimes the game of baseball doesn't reward you, and the bases are loaded. Abriel Torres on with the tying run on first base, and the base is juiced. First pitch. Low of the zone for ball 1. Kingsmen trying to rally in the varsity game, down 4-2 now, but they do have a couple of runners on in the top of the 3rd over there. I have a feeling we'll be getting some bonus coverage when this game concludes. At least runners on 2nd and 1st in that game. High, Falk behind in the count 2-0. Torres, a hitter's count, the designated hitter batting in the 3 spot. We haven't seen it yet this week, but you would assume that Torres has a pretty good amount of pop in that bat. 0 for 5 so far against the Kingsmen. And he hits a high fly ball to right field. Tracking it is Hudson Entrikin. That ball is foul, I think. It's foul. The runners are coming back, and the Kingsmen are not heading off the field. So I think that's a fair assumption. It was out of our view by some distance. It is 2-1. That ball hooked away from Hudson Entrikin, who's playing a little bit toward that right center field gap. Had a ways to go, and I believe that ball fell in the field of play, just foul, just unable to get there in time was Hudson Entrikin. Either way, it's strike 1, 2 balls and a strike. Brandon Falk working out of the windup with the bases loaded. Ground ball up the middle, backhand stop Hart. Montgomery Hart to first, and for the 2nd time, the Kingsmen get out of a bases-loaded jam. This time, 1 run comes across, but that is all. Ruben Guerrero's single made the bases loaded, but Brandon Falk able to work out of the jam and preserve the lead. It's 4-1. We head to the bottom of inning number 5 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Here in the bottom of the 5th, home half, and the bats back at it for the Kingsmen. 10-1-2 for Caden McNeil. There is a bit of a delay here. The home plate umpire is taking a phone call. I wish I could give you much more of an update than that. I'm sure it's important. It has to be important. But we are paused for now.
How much pitches was he at?
About 83 pitches for Micah Irving today in what was a pretty good start. And we are still waiting for the delay to conclude. The phone's away, the DoorDash order has been placed, and we are good to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Caden McNeil leads things off, 10-1-2. First pitch, and a big hack, empty, it's 0-1.
Good one. That's good.
McNeil, Waters, and Beatrice. And the 0-1 coming here from the Wellington starting pitcher. McNeil popped it foul, and it is 0-2. Caden McNeil so far in this game, a single. Came in to score on the base hit by Montgomery Hart. He was the first of 2 runners to score in the 3rd inning. Quickly 0-2. Here is the pitch from Anthiel. And McNeil takes ball 1. It seemed like everybody froze there for a second, expecting strike 3 to be called, but it is 1-2. Caden McNeil looking for some 2-strike production here, serving as the leadoff man. Hits a ground ball to the shortstop. Gonna hustle it out as Ferrer goes across the diamond in time to get a speedy left fielder. So now, for the 3rd time, the top of the order comes around. Ryan Waters, a walk and a sack bunt. Still looking for his first at-bat of the game. Ball 1 here to Ryan. Scored the first run of the game for the Kingsmen after that leadoff walk in the 1st. And now hits a ball down the right field line, hooking foul. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Two balls and 1 strike, as that one was outside. If you're following the inning-by-inning trends, then it would appear that the Kingsmen are slated to score another 2 runs here in this inning. 2 in the 1st, 0 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 0 in the 4th. And now we'll see what happens here in the 5th. Another foul ball ripped wide of the right field foul line by Waters. The pitch. Curveball inside. Make that ball 3, and the count is full to Ryan Waters, center fielder for the Kingsmen, playing in both games of this ABA kickoff so far. The payoff pitch comes from Anthiel, and Waters hits it up in the air. Called off, the 3rd baseman making the play. Castro able to get there. That was an awkward catch for the Wellington 3rd baseman, who saw that ball start to drop a little bit in front of him, had to turn the glove over and make an awkward catch in the infield. There are 2 down, though, as Wellington has retired the first 2 Kingsmen, the 2nd leadoff and the true leadoff. Here's Owen Beatrice. Oh, and he had about an hour to get out of the way of that one and still got plunked. 2nd time Owen's been hit by that one. He was hit in the 3rd inning by a pitch, came around to score, now he's been hit with 2 outs. Sharing a laugh with the base umpire after he headed down to first base. That was, I guess you call it an ethos pitch. That ball was probably thrown about 55 miles an hour. And if he rubs the bruise on that one, then he'll probably get a talking to from his coach. Montgomery Hart watches strike one at the letters. We talked earlier about the varsity game going on right now. Because of that, the Kingsmen coaching staff is stretched pretty thin. They only have 3 coaches here on the road trip. Coach Joe Hudak, Preston Hudak, and Nick Osborne. Preston Hudak and Coach Oz are serving as the coaches for the varsity game. Preston Hudak, the head coach of the varsity team. So then that leaves just the head manager over here. The skipper's at third, and Kason Young is the first base coach as Montgomery Hart hits one high and deep to center, but playable until tracks it down to end the 5th inning. So a high fly out ends the 5th. We go to inning number 6. 4-1, Kingsmen still lead here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Into the 6th inning we go here in the Atlanta area of Georgia, East Cobb baseball. Marietta, Georgia, to be precise, as Brandon Falk is back out there for the 6th, looking to shut things down against the meat of the order. It's Sam Vatterott leading things off. After Falk got a ground ball to Hart to end the 5th, he comes back out for the 6th and gets a flared shot off the end of the bat into right field. A leadoff base hit for Vatterott, who has now reached for the 3rd time in his many trips to the plate. He's now reached on an error, walked, and now singled. 1 for 2 for the first baseman. But he has been efficient. He set up the rest of his team here. Jorge Ferrer, 1 for 2 with the base hit and a pop out. 4, 5, 6 have been hitting the ball hard as of recently. See what Falk can get. Trying to preserve a 3-run lead. Out of the stretch, first pitch fastball, hard ground ball, third base side, and it's through. That is the exact same spot that Ferrer hit the ball last time he was up. Hit it through the gap. Classe unable to get there, and Barongo then hit that hard line drive that the Kingsmen were able to turn 2 on. Now things get a little bit tricky. pitching already stretched thin with the 2 games going at the same time. You have your floaters, a couple of whom have already pitched.
Just enough for how important he's got.
You do wonder after Falk if the Kingsmen need another pitcher in this game, who they would plan on turning to. Glad I'm not the one making those decisions. Falk delivers a first pitch fastball outside to David Bronco, who is 0 for 2. Had that pop out to end the first, and then I mentioned it a moment ago, but he hit the scorching line drive right at Clase that the Kingsmen were able to turn into an inning-ending double play. But he has seen the ball well. Important batter for Brandon Falk after allowing back-to-back singles to start the inning. 1-0. And a hard line drive again. This time he gets up the middle and into center. Ryan Waters tracks it down around third and scoring Sam Vatterott. And that is 3 consecutive singles off the bat of Wellington hitters against Brandon Falk. And it's 4-2. It has been really interesting to watch this series, to see, obviously, really, really good hitting. We knew we would see it against Wellington and against most of the teams in this ABA, as Coach Joe Hudak is going to head out and have a chat with Brandon Falk. But you look at a couple of the Kingsmen starting pitchers, like Brandon Falk and Noah Entrican, who you could say were borderline untouchable in the first few games of their season, their first few appearances, starts, whatever it may be. They've certainly still pitched well, not wild in any way, but you're just seeing what happens when good pitching comes up against good hitting, seeing a lot of really, really good battles between hitters. And if nothing else, excellent at-bats to prepare them for the next level. Expect a lot more of this once they get to college. Brandon Falk putting pitches in good spots, but the Wellington hitters just hitting it where fielders are not so far in this inning. 3 base hits in a row, and now Jose Arruccio, who hit that double back in inning number 5, comes back up now with runners on second and first and nobody out. Falk's first pitch, and Arruccio takes it at the knees, called strike 1. That's a good one for Falk to get ahead. No balls and a strike. Brandon Falk would love a softer hit ground ball to try to get him an out or 2. He gets instead a line drive hooked down the right field line, gets the benefit of the foul line to make it 0-2. That ball could have been disaster. Had it gotten into the corner, we may have been staring down a tied game. 4-2 as it stands. Runners on second and first, the tying run on first, and nobody out. The Kingsmen had a 4-0 lead after 3, have been held scoreless in the 2 innings since. Micah Irving, 4 2/3, just the 1 run against, relieved by Brandon Falk. He held Wellington scoreless through the first 4. 2 strikes to Arruccio, and did not get the call. Once again, borderline doesn't go the Kingsmen pitching's way. 2-2. Well, 2 strikes. We'll see what the official count is here in a second. Brandon Falk says it doesn't matter. Looking strikeout for Jose Arruccio, the second time that he's gone down on K's, and Tanner Kenny the next to hit with 2 on and 1 out. That's a big strikeout for Brandon Falk, his first since coming into the game. It has been a challenge for Falk since coming out of the pen. He has faced 6 hitters. It's that pickoff move to second. Everyone's safe. Back safely goes Jorge Ferrer. He's faced 6 hitters since coming in out of the pen, 4 singles, a ground out, and a strikeout. despite that, he still feels relatively in control on the mound. He still certainly looks that way. First pitch to Kenny, in there for a strike. That's maybe the most important thing you can do in a situation like this. Trying to protect a lead, runners on, showing command of the zone, getting a first pitch strike, and not working from behind. So crucial in situations like this. It's the 0-1 hit into right field, hooking down the line and foul, and kind of mirroring Oruccio at the plate one hitter ago. A strike, then a foul ball down the right field line, and suddenly the hitter's behind 0-2. Perhaps Brandon Falk likes the recipe that ended in a looking strikeout. Diego Castro's on deck. He struck out looking twice today. You know Falk would love to face him with 2 down. 0-2 count here to the right fielder, Kenny. Falk's pitch. A hard line drive toward the Kingsman dugout, a foul ball, and it still remains 0-2. In the bottom half of the 6th for the Kingsmen, it will be 4-5-6 due up. Curtis, Entrikin, and Classe. New ball in play, 0-2 count, the pitch for Falk again. High for ball 1. Falk glances at second, lifts the leg and comes home.
Yes.
And struck out Tanner Kenny. Back-to-back looking Ks. 2 down here in the 6th. You gotta love it for Brandon Falk. Despite the balls in play, despite the contact, he is bared down and now struck out back-to-back Wellington hitters. Diego Castro is 0 for 2 with 2 looking strikeouts himself. Runners on second and first, 2 away. The first pitch to the lefty is on the outside corner for a called strike. Update on the Kingsmen varsity game. They were down 6-2. It's 6-5. Charging back, a rally for the Kingsmen varsity group. We'll see if they can complete that rally. I'll keep you updated as Brandon Falk deals a ball low and away. Looks like the inning has ended still 6-5. So down a run, but a comeback attempt perhaps in the cards for KBA's varsity, who tried and came up so close but short against P27, attempting to come back big yesterday. Brandon Falk has the count even at 1-1, facing what looks like actually a pinch hitter. Diego Castro is not hitting for Wellington. It is Liam Wallace, and Wallace taps a ground ball foul. It is 1-2. Wallace, the left-handed hitter, wearing the number 27. Pinch hitter with 2 on and 2 out, and Wallace now behind 1-2. Brandon Falk has struck out 2 hitters consecutively. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Gets a ground ball back his direction. It gets by. Hart will flip to first. No play. No play. Another slow roller. And the 4th single of the inning. That one hit perhaps slower than that base hit we saw from Guerrero the last inning against Falk. That's a tough one. 4-2 the score remains. Parker Shop, the catcher, in the bottom of the order is now going to come up. But don't let the bottom of the order fool you here. He is 1 for 2 with a deep fly out and a double off of the center field wall. Tying run in scoring position at second base. The go-ahead is on first. Falk out of the windup. His first pitch is hit high in the air to right field. Tracking it, Hudson Entrikin, and that one drifts foul, 0-1. Feels like a crucial moment of this ball game. 4-2 in the top of the 6th. The Kingsmen can get out of this. They'll take at least a 2-run lead into the game's final inning. Falk's 0-1. And a hard line drive into left field, in for a base hit. McNeil collects. 1 run scores. Throw to the plate is going to be cut off by Classe. They go to second and they have the runner in a rundown. Gummy Hart applies the tag and the inning is over, but the damage is done. A 3-spot ties the game. It's a 2-run single for Parker Shop. And we head to the bottom of the 6th, all square at 4. 4-4, Wellington puts up their 3-spot and equals the Kingsmen's tally. We'll look to retake the lead when we get back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. To the bottom of the 6th we go. Griffin Leonard here for the ABA kickoff. Kingsmen Prospect Baseball on the air. The bottom of the 6th inning, the Kingsmen and Wellington Sports Academy all knotted up at 4. The Kingsmen with 4 runs to take a 4-0 lead, but Wellington have carved 4 unanswered back to answer. So, it's Curtis, Entrikin, Classe to start off the 6th inning. Big inning, hoping for the Kingsmen, and Jack Curtis starts it off with the ball. Curtis is 0 for 0 with 2 sacrifice flies. Bit of an odd stat line for him, but he's got 2 ribbies, and he'd love to start things off with a base knock here. Hard to get a sacrifice fly with the bases empty. And he's ahead 2-0, a hitter's count here for the Kingsmen. The first road trip for the team at least extended road trip for the team since they got back from the Dominican Republic. Into the windup, the pitch, and a fly ball, court foul. There is a new pitcher on the mound for Wellington Sports Academy. Liam Gensey, number 23, the new pitcher for the visitors. Good day for Anthel. And Curtis sends it into right center field. Tracking it, not going to get there, is Kenny. Around first, heading to second, Jack Curtis. He would love 3, but he'll stop at 2 with a leadoff double. Jack Curtis starts things off for the Kingsmen here in the 6th.
Yeah, boy, Jack. Start.
That was only one pitch. It was like 3 pitches that missed.
Come on, Jack.
The big guy was in this.
Was it?
Yeah, this is
So here is Hudson Entrikin, runner on second and nobody out. The go-ahead run at second here in the bottom of the 6th. Gensey looks at Curtis and then deals to Entrikin. It's pop foul over top of us here down the first base line and onto the field adjacent. 0-1 the count. I was mentioning it a minute ago. First road trip since the Dominican, that mission trip that the team went on. An excellent experience for all involved. Gensey, the right-hander, delivers the 0-1. And Entrikin sends it into right center. Tracking it till to a slide, and the ball's down. Entrikin will stop at first, and it is runners on the corners with nobody out after Hudson Entrikin has himself a base hit. Third and first with nobody out for Izzy Classe. Izzy Classe of Dominican blood. That trip, top to bottom, was a great experience for all these guys. Almost the entire team that we have here in East Cobb was able to go on that trip. Able to see a little bit of a shift in some of these guys over the course of the week that we were out there. Gensey with the runners on the corners, slide steps and misses outside. For those of you tuning in that are less familiar with the trip, it was 7 days in La Romana and San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic on the southern coast. Chance to play baseball, played 4 games against some local academies as that one's popped up foul 1-1. But off the field, got to do some work around the community, got to visit a local orphanage, visit a local school, pass out some bags of food to the village of somebody, a good friend of ours that does the translating when we're out on that trip. It's the second time I got to go on the trip, and I can't wait to go back this summer for a third time. Classe sends a dart out of play. That ball ricocheted off the brick facade of the WSA dugout and actually bounced into the stands and nearly hit a couple of fans that were sitting, in a position that you would think you're pretty safe behind the net. Got to be careful down there, folks. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Classe looking to put the ball in play and score the go-ahead run. Curtis is at first. We have not seen Entrikin budge off of first since his single. He takes off here. Classe up the middle, a base hit into left center field, and Entrikin with the head start will head to third. He's there, and Classe off of second base now, safely at second. A lot to break down there as the Kingsmen have the lead right back. How about the heads-up base running from Classe to see the throw head into third and take second? Now you have runners on second and third, and Classe is loving it as he flips his ankle guard to Kaysen Young at first base. The Kingsmen lead here in the bottom of the 6th. The Bats coming back alive when it really mattered. So 2nd and 3rd infield in for Mason Ritzema, and Ritzema takes high for ball 1. Ritzema pops it up. Tracking it is Castro into foul territory, and he runs. No, he didn't run out of room. That ball landed in play, and new life for Ritzema. That would have been an inning-changing catch if Castro had tracked it down in foul ground. Instead, it's 1-1. Now, I won't talk too much more about the Dominican trip. Of course, it's a close game here. We don't want to miss any of the action, but I will say if you want to find out more about that trip, you can read some about the player experiences. A lot of them wrote blogs that are on KingsmanBaseballAcademy.org. Feel free to check out and see some of the experiences of some of those guys and their own words on how that trip impacted them and the people that they were able to bless. That foul ball makes it 1-2. Still nobody out here in the 6th inning. A double and 2 singles. 4-5-6 coming up big for the Kingsmen in the 6th. 2-strike pitch to Ritz, and he golfs it into right field. Hooking toward the right fielder, Kenny. And Classe will have to book it back to second. Entrikin decided not to tag. Classe was booking it for third, and then he had to put on the brakes when he realized that there was nowhere to go. So a fly out for Ritzema means the first out of the inning. They would have loved to grab another run there, but now it's time for Ashton Bowes. Bowes, a hard hitter for this Kingsman team, just hasn't been able to unlock that extra base hit power yet since recently becoming a Kingsman. This would be one heck of a time to open up that account. He's had a couple of big base hits, don't get me wrong. Bowes has been a big addition to this team since coming in, but I've seen that swing. And I think opponents are lucky that his ball hasn't left the ballpark yet. That one's outside for ball 2. He's got himself a hitter's count. Now I'd wager that he'll be swinging away here. Tristan Harless is on deck. Hudson Entrikin on third with Izzy Classe behind him at second. Both would look to score on a base hit. 1-run lead for the Kingsmen, 2-0. Bowes took a home run hack at that one and was out front, 2-1. Two balls and a strike. We'll see what Jency dials up here. Goes to the fastball and gets another cut. 2-2 after the swing and a miss. Harless, the designated hitter, waiting for his turn. Both Bowes and Harless hitless so far in the contest. Bowes with 2 strikes on him. Hits it into left. Back, Guerrero under, makes the catch, Entrikin tagging, and plenty of time for Hudson Entrikin to stroll into the plate. Ashton Bowes gets himself a sacrifice fly, and that is a huge 2-strike hack for the Kingsman first baseman to make it 6-4. A big 2 spot in the inning. You know, I said that based on the inning score, it was going to come in the 5th. Just came in inning late. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that at the end of the day. It's 6-4 Kingsman. They'll be 3 outs away from winning this ball game when they take to the field. But Izzy Classe is still in scoring position. Harless would love to knock him in. Takes a ball low to be ahead 1-0. Not sure about bullpen action right now. Brandon Falk, in relief of Micah Irvin, has gotten himself out of a couple of jams already as Tristan Harless hits a high fly ball to right field. And that one is caught by Kenny to end the inning. So we will head to the 7th. We'll see who's on the mound for the Kingsmen when we come back. 6-4. The Kingsmen looking for another 2-run win over Wellington Sports Academy. When we come back on the Kingsman Baseball Network, this game concludes. Welcome back to Kingsmen Baseball here. It's Prospect Baseball against Wellington Sports Academy, part of the ABA kickoff here in East Cobb, and we're into the final inning of action. 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th have given the Kingsmen the lead back, and Brandon Falk is in position to close it out and grab the win. 3 outs away from doing so, and he's got to face the top of the Wellington order. First pitch here coming to Ethan Till. The right-hander fires home a fastball, and it's downstairs for a ball. The KBA varsity team has completed their comeback down on field number 5 against Eastern Carolina Academy. 6-6 is that score in the top of inning number 5. Still a little work to be done in that game. Outside corner fastball to make it 1-1. That one is outside, out of the hand of Falk. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's Till, Guerrero, and Torres. Guerrero's got himself 2 hits. Till's got himself 2 walks. And Torres has himself 2 groundouts. I know which one of those I like the best. 2-1. And there it's the line drive, bouncing once in front of Hart. Montgomery Hart to first, and they have him by half a step at first base for a very important lead-off out to start the bottom of the top of inning number 7. The Kingsmen looking for a big second win here in East Cobb against Wellington Sports Academy. Still unsure of whether or not tomorrow's game is happening. And I will get you that update, at least if I know anything, before we hop off the air here. I'll head down and get a couple words from Coach Hudak. Inside ball 1 to Ruben Guerrero. On the pitching side, I'm sure the Kingsmen at this point are probably hoping that we do not play tomorrow, because things will be very, very interesting trying to put together a starter plus bullpen options, given the usage across this game, seeing both Game 2 and Game 3 starters pitching in this one. Brandon Falk up to 36 pitches now. I would assume he would not come back out and throw tomorrow after what has been a mid-length appearance. That ball's hit a mile high. If it's playable, it would be huge for the Kingsmen, but Ritzma runs out of room, and it's a strike to make it 1-2. After Guerrero, it'll be Torres. Gabriel Torres is 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts and a strikeout. Guerrero singled. He was the first batter that Brandon Falk faced coming in for Micah Irving. Now he faces him again and has 2 strikes on it. Gets the ground ball, chopped foul, and bounces wide of the batting circle into the on-deck man. Torres flips it to Ritzma, and it'll be the same ball in the glove of Brandon Falk for the next pitch. I'd like to thank you for joining us here today on the Kingsmen Baseball Network, wherever you may be. We hope you join us for the next prospect action, either tomorrow or next week at Gardner-Webb University. 2 strikes and a foul ball hit off the bat of Guerrero to keep the inning alive further, or keep the at-bat alive further. The Kingsmen are set to take on PDG Academy next week at Gardner-Webb. At home series Tuesday and Wednesday, March 3rd and 4th. We hope you join us either in person or on the Kingsmen Baseball Network for those games, all broadcast live and in person. 2-strike pitch from Falk. Ground ball up the middle. He reached for it, couldn't get it, but Hart is there, and the throw's on time for out number 2. Back-to-back 4-3 groundouts, and Wellington is down to its final out here in the 7th. Brandon Falk came in with 2 outs in inning number 5. Surrendered 3 earned runs in the 6th off of 5 singles. But after the bottom of the 6th, gave the Kingsmen some more offense. He is in line for the win. And he drops in strike 1, a slider to Abriel Torres. Torres in this series has not had the production out of the 3-hole that he would like to. Across the 2 games, he is 0 for 6. The only time he's been on base, he reached on an error. 0-1. Off the plate inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. If the game continues, we would see a much more lethal bat from what we've seen the last couple of days. Sam Vatterott has reached every time he's been to the plate today, and he stands on deck. One ball and 1 strike. Falk out of the windup, delivers the pitch. And it's a swing and a miss to make it 1-2. Hung it a little bit, but good location made it hard to hit for Torres. And now Wellington is down to its final strike. Back and forth affair in East Cobb today, but the Kingsmen looking to seal the deal against their Florida rivals. 1-2. Ground ball, third base side. Clase up with it. The throw across the diamond is in time, and the Kingsmen win the ball game. Final score is 6-4. They wrap things up, and Brandon Falk gets the win in relief of Micah Irving. Not a bad showing for the Kingsmen. They win their 2nd game in as many contests against the Wellington Gators. And it's handshakes all around for the Gold and Black as they wrap things up with a late 2 spot. Brandon Falk shuts the door in the 7th. I'm going to head on down to field number 5 here in a couple of moments, find out what the situation is down there. But I'll step aside for one moment, not ending the stream right yet, so don't go anywhere. We're going to find out if we have any information about tomorrow's game, and I'll let you know before we hop off the air. Be right back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network, final once again. Prospect wins 6-4 over Wellington Sports Academy, 2-0 here in the ABA kickoff. Regarding tomorrow, there is no update for tomorrow's game quite yet. Watch the Kingsmen social media channels and check for updates on kingsmanbaseballacademy.org regarding the status of tomorrow's game. But once again, no update at this time. We invite you to head over to Game Changer and check out the end of the varsity contest. ECA has a live stream going right now. The last I checked, that score is tied in the bottom of the 5th inning between the Kingsmen and Eastern Carolina Academy. A fun finish down there, but that'll wrap up my coverage for the day. I'm Griffin Leonard saying so long. Once again, your final score for Prospect Baseball, 6-4. The Kingsmen defeat Wellington Sports Academy. We'll see you either tomorrow or we'll see you around Gardner Webb. It's going to be a fun couple of days for the Kingsmen coming up here. We hope you stay with us. Have a great day here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.